All right, might seem weird. I just have a bunch of Google's family tree pictures open. I'm sorry, but there's purpose. So, the way that HTML elements are explained in relationship to one another is the same way that we look at a family tree and explain how these elements are related, right? So you have here's this person right here, and these are their parents, right? Mother, parent. Here's you, says me. This is your parent. And then your grandfather is technically the parent of your parent, right? And then you have your siblings. Cool? Makes sense? Kinda? Not really. Let me simplify it and then just make it way more complex and confusing, then hopefully simplify it again. Okay, so here is this image, right? So it's a little tree I made, pretty much the same as that last one, right? Where here's you have these children, then you have siblings, and your parent, the sibling of your parent, the parent of your parent, and then your sibling's child, sibling child, sibling child, right? So this is kind of how you would explain like an HTML tree. So I wrote it out almost like it was HTML. And so you have, here's this parent of parent, and see how that encapsulates everything, right? So everything goes back to this parent of parent. Then there's a parent, sibling, sibling child, sibling child, sibling child. Here's you. You have a child, another child, your two children, and then another sibling, sibling child, sibling, and I guess there just has one child, and then closing your parent, parent, sibling, right? So, they don't have any children, it's just a single element, etc. And then ultimately closing your parent to parent. And everything is encapsulated all in that, right? So now let's look at HTML and a parse tree in HTML, right? So first off, we have this HTML element, and then there's a header with H1, right? And we can see that here too. Header, closing header, and then the H1 tag. Then there's body, which has an H2 tag, and then a table, and then all of these rows, table rows within the table, and then the table data points. I don't know. I forget what TD stands for. But you can see how those are sort of related, right? So if I was at this point, right, and I wanted to refer back to body, that would be the parent of my parent. I guess the parent of my parent, right? So parent takes me one step back, and then another parent takes me another step back, right? However, if I was at table and I wanted to get to this TD, I would say child TR, and then hopefully this has some identifying feature, and then child TD, right? Like, rough understanding of that. So let's go back / go to if you didn't watch the quotes, this great video, and look at these, right? So you can see how these are sort of relating, right? And maybe this is the easiest place to look, is this header head tag, and then it has this title in it. In this case, we have an H1 tag, and it's all within HTML, and then body, and some random other containers. So hopefully that helps you to understand really relationships between tags in HTML. So you can hopefully look at something like this and say, oh, well, it looks like this Albert Einstein is a child in some fashion of this quote, right? So if we inspect and then so this is the div class quote, and then let's inspect Albert Einstein. All right, so it looks like he's one parent, two parents. So he's two children deep, right? So Span is the parent of this small Albert Einstein, whatever, or, yeah, I guess that's different. Span is the parent of this small tag that has Albert Einstein in it, and then the parent of Span is this quote, right? So if I wanted to pull all the authors, I could say, okay, go to div class quote, and then give me the second child, or the child of my child's, with the class author, and that'll give you Albert Einstein. So as we're going through the more complex web scraping and whatnot, this will be more applicable as you're kind of dealing with like tables and pulling that information and trying to put it into a format that's more understandable. So hopefully that makes sense. Leave any comments if you have questions or need clarity, and I am sure to get back to you as soon as I see it and can.